Okay.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to the regular meeting of council for January 27th, 2026. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. I'd like to call upon Deputy Mayor Marecki to read the land acknowledgement, please.
I would like to acknowledge that the rural municipality of St. Andrews is located on Treaty 1 territory, the territorial lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, OG, Cree, Dakota, and Dene people, and the national homelands of the Red River Métis. We respect the spirit and intent of treaties and treaty making and remain committed to working in partnership with First Nations, Inuit, Métis people in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration.
Thank you. Item 3, adoption of the agenda. Be it resolved that council adopt the agenda as amended with the addition of the following items. Under new business 13.4,
Peter.
council indemnities annual increase. And in camera 14.4, code of conduct complaint addendum. So could I have a mover, please? Councillor Dornbos, seconder Councillor Schleicher. All in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Do you need,
Yeah, my pads keep warm.
yeah.
Thanks.
Next item, adoption of the minutes. Be it resolved that council adopt the January 13th, 2026 council meeting minutes as presented. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Feeblecorn, seconder Deputy Mayor Marecki. Any errors or omissions? All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Reception of delegations. I'd like to welcome Russ Paradowski and Zach Holden from St. Andrews Airport on the 2026 operating and capital budgets. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks again for inviting us. It's one of our semi-annual visits we do with your council. This meeting is about our budget and the forecasting of the coming 5 years. And we also meet in June for our annual general meeting. Zach and I will present the following information today and try and keep it down to 15 minutes. Number 1, the operating budget for 2026. Number 2, the capital budget for 2026. Number 3, the projected capital expenditures for the 4 years following 26, 27 to 30. Another item we would like to introduce is our Airport Improvement Reserve Fund, which we started recently. We want to just inform council on that. And finally, we want to discuss our St. Andrews Airport Board Resolution on November 12, 2025 to the RM Council. Starting off with the first page that we just circulated is the budget for 2026. Our total budgeted revenue for the coming year is $1,439,000. The actual results in 2025 were $1,366,000. So we're budgeting approximately $73,000 higher revenue this year, which is just over 5%. And the increased revenues come from 2 sources: the rental revenues and common area costs. So basically rental revenues were increasing. And that's because all our land is now leased out, fully leased. So we're at maximum revenues. In terms of expenditures, budget for the year is $927,996. Our actual expenditures last year were $867,000. So we've upped our expenditure budget by roughly $61,000 or 6%. And most of the increase in our expenditure budget falls under salaries and benefits. We're passing on cost of living increases to our staff, plus merit and experience increases to the staff. Our net income projected before amortization in the budget is $511,135, so just over $500,000. Our actual result for 2025 was $499,000. We're being very consistent again with our projections on revenue and operating results. Non-cash expenditures or amortization, and there are the 3 items listed there. And there's a recovery from deferred revenue for $202,000 to offset the first amortization. So after amortization, our net income is $380,000 and $31 projected. Last year, actual was $369,000. Again, we're very close to what we did last year. And from those profits, we contribute to the capital fund 40%. So $204,454 goes over to the capital fund. In addition, from that operating revenue of $380,000, we make the principal payment on the loan payable to the RM. And the budget for this year is $121,521. So in total, we pay out about 85% of our operating profits over to capital. So we only retain 15%. I guess I'll call that a rainy day fund for operations into the future. We're heavily investing in the future in terms of capital assets. I'll turn it over to Zach now, to talk about the capital funds.
So for the next page, we have St. Andrews Airport Internal Capital Fund. For 2026, we'll focus on. We're going to start off the year with just shy of 313,000. Out of that, as we said, we add the 204,000, which is the 40% of our operating income. We also add in the 121,000 for our Apron 5 loan payment. You'll see that come out a little later. So for the total, we start off with $638,703. So then we subtract, as I said, that Apron 5 loan payment. And then this year we're purchasing for $50,000 a Kubota mower. That's the small mower we use to clear around all the lights and the ditches. $150,000 for a skid steer, which we are taking delivery on tomorrow. That's for a skid steer and several attachments, primarily to use for snow clearing. But anyone who's used a skid steer knows you can use them for about 1 million different other things. $20,000 for a flat deck trailer. That's for recovering aircraft and or moving around anything as required. $15,000 for the parking lot meter. So that will be for the baseball diamond parking lot, not to charge the people during baseball, but to charge the long-term parking section. And then as the next item you can see is $20,000. That's a yearly item we do for fencing. That's primarily security fencing. When people are ending up in areas they shouldn't, we find where the holes are, put up a fence, and just every year we try to put up a couple more fences and continue to improve safety. I won't touch on all the adding for the next years, except for in 2028, you can see we're adding in 200,000. That's because reverse order here. In 2027, we're taking 200,000 from our internal capital fund and moving it over to our airport improvement fund. We're just kind of borrowing from one pot to another. That's to repave a runway. And then the following 2028, we reimburse ourselves. Other capital expenses, 2027, we're looking at about $60,000 to redo our parking lot. It's falling apart and we're trying to put some money into it. 2027 as well, we have the front gate. That's more to do with the bridge. The bridge is aging and we'd like to take the bridge out, put in some culverts, some gravel, and replace it before it really needs to be replaced. Another kind of safety thing. That's a common theme around here.
And we may need the municipalities' help with that in terms of putting culverts in and bringing the material.
We had previously talked to Trevor and he seemed like he'd be happy to help us out with that if we supply the culverts and material. 2028, another expenditure there you can see is 80,000 to replace one of our work trucks. Love to get a cheaper truck, but unfortunately trucks aren't cheap anymore. So that's about it from our capital fund. Moving down the page.
I just made one comment.
Yep.
The items Zach is just talking about from this capital area are internally funded by the airport. They're not funded by the federal government. Now he's going to get into what's funded by the federal government.
Correct. So all those items are self-funded. That's based off our revenues, primarily the rentals. Moving down the bottom section is ACAP. These are items that we can apply for through the ACAP program. It's Airport Capital Assistance Program. It's not guaranteed we get any of these items. We apply for them. We hope we get them. We have got items in the past, like our sweeper we got, our spare trailer. So they do support us, but there's $38 million a year in funding that's available and over $138 million in requests. So these numbers aren't necessarily what's actually going to happen. In 2026, you can see we applied for a new loader for 489,375. That's not to say we get it, but that's what we are eligible for. Moving to 2027, we're eligible to replace our snow blower for 575,000, our material spreader for 56,000, and a grader for 500,000. And 2028, we're eligible for our friction tester and electronic runway condition reporting system. That's what we use to basically see how slippery the runways are, and that's the number that gets reported to aircraft.
If I could, while you're there, Doc.
Yeah.
On that, said 2026 project, front end loader with attachments and then the grader, they're both the same amount? Or is that the same piece of equipment?
The front end loader with attachments is 489. I think the grader's in 2027 for $500,000. The line at the bottom is just the totals.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, thank
That
you.
grader's obviously a used grader for that.
And then lastly, in 2029 would be a plow truck. Basically, as things become eligible, we apply for them. Doesn't mean we get them, but we are always trying to get ahead of the curve and keep our equipment newer if possible. Do you want me to go into the reserve fund, or we're going to tell them that?
Go into that.
Okay.
You're done with ACAP, right?
I'm done with ACAP. Any questions on any of that?
I have a question. So when applying for ACAP, what's the percentage of chance that the government's gonna give you that money?
It's hard to say. As I said, with the only 38 million available in funding and 138 million in requests, it all depends on what other projects are applied for. Equipment's usually a better chance of getting it because they kind of do, say, big runway projects like repaving a runway somewhere up north. You know, that could be millions of dollars, and then they like to use equipment to kind of fill in the gaps. So we're more likely to get equipment than we are to get a large scale project. That being said, I don't predict we're going to get all these pieces of equipment in years we apply. It might take, we may or may not get the loader this year. We may get it next year. I think it's a good chance we're going to get it. It's just a matter of when.
Councilor Slacker?
Who writes these grants for you? You do or like?
For the ACAP, I write those myself. They're a pretty simple application. There's two application processes. One is for structures and runways and things like that, and then the other is for equipment. When it comes to structures, runways, and those large projects, it's very complex and there's a lot to it. When it comes to equipment, it's 2 pages. You know, fill out what you need when you're eligible, when you had it. It's very, very basic. So those we do in-house.
And we have 3 runways, they only fund one of them. When it comes to repairs, they'll only pay for repairing the ones, but 2 others, we have to fund internally. That-
Refresh my memory, you don't get any support from the province.
We get $4,800 per year from the province. That's it.
Small little grant, like an operating grant. It's a token amount.
Yeah. And I can tell you, just with the ice we've had, we've spent over 40,000 in de-icing chemical. So the $4,800 doesn't go very far.
Well, leads into our next topic, it's the Airport Improvement Reserve Fund established. The reason for that is the airport is 60 years old. We've got 3 runways. One's only funded by the federal government. We have to repair the other 2. Plus we have other expenditures, as you can see, that aren't funded by the federal government. So by resolution, our board on September 10th passed the resolution to establish this Airport Improvement Reserve Fund. And it's effective starting October 1st, 2025. So in that reserve fund, and this is strictly, it's not part of our operating budget, it hasn't been mentioned, it's not part of that, it's other sources funding. So number 1, from passengers departing the airport, we charge as of October 1st, $10 a head. That's compared to in Winnipeg, it's about $50 a head between a facility terminal fee and a passenger fee of $38. So we're only at $10. That covers all our scheduled flights and our charter services. And so on an annual basis, that's roughly $250,000 that'll go into this reserve. Other 2 categories going into the improvement reserve are landing fee increases. So we've always had landing fees, and we've upped them 10 or 20%.
Yeah, we never used to charge tenants for landing fees. So Now we charge tenants landing fees at a reduced rate and then non-tenants a higher rate.
So we're generating some extra landing fee revenues. That's roughly $190,000 that'll go into this fund annually. And then in terms of fuel concession fees, we've also increased those, and that's gonna generate another $60,000. So all in all, that adds up to about $500,000 per year. So what we're gonna do with that money is accumulate it in a reserve fund, but our first projects, capital improvement projects, are to, I have a list here, there we go. Two of the runways need refurbishing or paving. Runway 0422, that's roughly $1 million to do that. And runway 1836, our parallel runways, roughly $1 million. We're also changing all the airfield lights at a budget of $50,000 a year that'll come out of this fund. We're repairing one of the runways at $60,000, and we're doing infield signage. We did all the taxiways, which are in between the main runways last summer. That cost roughly $400,000. Now we gotta put the signage up so we can use those infield taxiways. They were previously decommissioned, so they weren't being used. Now we put them back in service. That helps all our tenants, our airlines, they can crisscross for runways quicker than going all the way around. So it helps them save time and money. So that's one of the benefits of us doing that. So we've established this fund for future major capital that we can't support from our operations or is not supported by the federal government. So we needed to do this. We've done it. Our board worked together to get this done. Our tenants are paying for it now. There's been very little negative backlash. We expected some. There's a lot less than we thought would happen. So we've established this as of October 1st. Any questions on that?
Go ahead.
I believe we're currently the least expensive airport with these fees.
Compared to what Kenora?
Yeah, we're one of the least expensive. It's hard to compare airports because, we're, say, Lindcrest in the city, they're a couple grass strips, so they're not comparable. So to find a comparable services and size is difficult, but in the general area of people who do have airport improvement fees and do have paved runways and services, we're the lowest. Previously, we didn't have any of these fees. We've always tried to be cheaper to help bring people in, but now that we have so many people at St. Andrews, it's time to start making a little money so that we can maintain what we have.
Yeah, we don't want to lose the use of those runways in the future, because if we just let them sit, they're just gonna decompose, basically, disintegrate.
We've tried to get ACAP funding for runway 0422 for years unsuccessfully. They didn't want to support the infield either. And instead of continuing to close things, we want to keep things open, maybe even reopen more. And this is how we're going to be able to do that.
Hey, Councilor Slicker.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you very much. That's a wonderful start. Is there anything built into this to like a percentage of yearly increase for it or
For what? For
all of these fees that we've implemented as of October?
well, like I said, we're gonna generate $500,000 to go in that reserve fund.
Right,
And one of the runway costs to refurbish it's $1 million. We need 2 years of this to build up before we can do that. We're likely not gonna do it to 2027.
why wouldn't we do this going forward forever and a day?
Oh, we will. This is
So
an
that-
annual thing that's gonna go on.
That's my question, but
We may increase those fees as we go on.
is there a chart put in place of annual increases for it? Like as a board, do you have something laid out over a 5-year period of 2% each year or
No,
something
we
along
haven't-
those lines?
We haven't talked about increases right now. We were just worried about any backlash from tenants. So we've got over that hump now, and we can talk about increases in the future. But first, we want to show them that we've done work. One of the items that we're gonna show them we've done work is those taxiways and putting the signage up so the airlines can use them right away. Same with the lighting we're doing on an ongoing basis. So we have to show them we're doing something with that $500,000 a year, and that's what we plan to do.
Well, I have no doubt that we do stuff. I, like I said, good, wonderful plan to see the airport boys come up.
Okay.
But I'd like to see something on the record that says, once, in there, spring or whatever, what your bracket of increases in timeframes would be.
Yeah. I always like to bring this up. Before we took over the airport from Transport Canada, the federal government, they were losing money every year. We've been making money every year for the last 20+ years.
Councillor Jordan.
Just for Councillor Slaker there, with Rob not being a part of the board with these two gentlemen here too. We just started this in October, so you don't want to shock everybody. This thing, is this a brand new thing for them to
I'm
digest?
asking for on the record, Mr.
Okay,
Donovan,
but
down
they're
in
looking
the
for
minute.
increases, so how are we gonna give an increase without knowing 3 months down the road how things are progressing, right? So I think maybe you just look correct. Much, we have to kind of see how people are digesting this over the next year, get that revenue coming in, make the improvements to the runways. So now these aircraft are not spending all this gas going
No, I
down,
haven't
they're
looked
gonna
at
see.
that. I've been out there and looked at it all. Thank you though for
Yeah,
explaining.
well, you're very welcome.
Okay, so the last item I wanted,
Oh, one more question.
No, I was just gonna say that, I said on the airport board and, the way the implementation of this was done quite well and, the tenants really recognize the fact that they have to come to the table with a little bit more money in order to upgrade the aging infrastructure that is in the airport, so. I believe that the tenants are okay with it.
really only half of it's coming from the tenants, the other half's coming from passengers.
Yeah.
So the other item I want to discuss is that resolution we've circulated to council. It's much like the resolution we did a year ago. Where we're asking for an increase to the operating grant we get from the RM. And last year, that grant was increased from roughly 25,000 to 47,850, which represented 95,700 of municipal taxes raised by the municipality in 2024. So we're asking for that number to be adjusted again based on the 2025 municipal taxes. And as I mentioned, your operating grant goes into our operations, ends up being part of our profits, which go into capital to help pay for these projects. And why we're asking, we're getting feedback from our tenants that their property taxes went up quite a bit in 2025. I'm assuming their assessment values went up quite a bit.
Well, we'll have to put that in for budget.
Budget.
That'll be for budget discussion.
Right, that's our request that you consider it in your 2026 budget.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Any other questions?
Is there any way that you could increase, the fees on the people flying in and out instead of $10? You said they're $50 a month. Generate more income by, charging a little bit more there?
We actually started using a figure of $5 and $7. We ended up getting aggressive and going up to 10. So we don't want to be too aggressive. We're not in competition with Winnipeg. Winnipeg's got jets. We're more training schools,
Yeah.
right? That's why the airport's, St. Andrews Airport was built. We're trying to compete with Kenora and some of the other smaller airports. We're trying to stay just below their number.
Well, some of these kids are paying upwards of $100,000 at these schools, so I'm sure that the operators that are operating these schools could pay a little bit more.
We'll consider that next budget year. We just want to get through this first year.
Councillor Slaker?
Paradowski and Jack, I thank you both for going down this road. This is something that I've been looking for a long time. So hats off to you both. I'm not trying to degrade it. I'm really glad to see, and I'm glad that the tenants and people are doing it. Just as long as we can keep it all moving forward as time goes on.
All right, this is my last year as chairperson, but
Oh, no.
well, it's for health reasons.
Oh,
I'll sticking around to be treasurer where I have a little less responsibility.
okay.
It's sort of my niche anyway, so.
We will be reviewing all of our budget and all our fees on an annual basis. To start, we just kind of wanted to get started, get these fees in place. It's not necessarily fair to compare us to Winnipeg at almost $50 because we don't have they have an air terminal fee. We don't have an air terminal, so that's unfair. we don't have de-icing program. Like there's several services that they supply that we don't, so it's not really apples to apples.
Well, another major reason, they're losing millions of dollars a year and we're making money every year. So can't be too aggressive when we're generating $500,000 profit.
We've attracted a lot of major tenants because we've been a cheaper alternative. If we start gouging, then they'll go somewhere else. If we're no longer a viable option, there's nothing saying that they can't sell their building and go somewhere else. And we'd rather get a bit of the pie than take the whole thing. And the next thing you know, everyone's leaving.
Like the training schools could leave and go to Steinbach or Gimli. We don't want to scare them away.
Counselor Hunter.
Yeah,
ahead.
a couple of things. Thank you guys for the presentation. And good job on the passenger airport improvement. No, we tried that for years, but kind of got pushed back from a lot of the operators and that. So congratulations for getting them on board. The capital contribution that the RM makes, what is that number and what is left in reserve for the capital portion of the budget that the RM gives?
That's $30,000 a year, and we're asking council to continue that. And that fund, we virtually topped it out last year, so I think we're starting the year with $10,000 or $20,000 in that fund.
Okay, and that was used basically for the repair of the runway, correct?
Used for various capital projects.
Very capital. Okay.
Taxiways plus some equipment purchases.
Also, there was mentioned a while ago about topsoil, that pile that's off 27 and one behind the new hangars there. That's still available for us to, we should make note of that to use for our soccer fields, because that's good topsoil that come off of various projects within the airport, correct?
Yeah, and the RM's welcome to use it. There's a standing offer to the RM to use it. They've used a little bit of it, right?
Yeah, I actually talked to Trevor from Public Works today. They did use a bit of it during the Ball Diamond project. I told him, it's there whenever you need it. Just let me know. I'll give you the key. And got a pile off Parkdale. We've got a pile in behind our maintenance shop, and then we have one just south 8.5. So if any projects in the area you need soil, we're happy to help.
Thank you.
Okay, and one more question. That culvert or that bridge you want to replace, that's on Aviation Boulevard, the one that goes into Ralph Haynes Drive there?
No, it's the main bridge off Southgate Road. So right when you come to the main
bridge, okay.
entrance. Yeah.
Okay.
It's on
And that-
airport property. It's not on highways property.
Okay, because that is a highways road, yeah. So that is on our property then?
Correct.
That's on the airport property? Okay, great.
That
Yeah,
bridge
we'll have
is
to deal with highways then. Perfect. Thank you.
60
Thanks.
years old, so it's not gonna last forever.
No, perfect. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you have any?
We'll see you in June again.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Excellent. Thanks for all the
Thank you for having
info.
us.
Thank you. Next delegation we have is Megan Nain, Rural Animal Management Service. Welcome, Megan.
Hi, everybody. Nice to officially meet everyone. I did bring some newsletters if you'd like. Thank you. This is something that we send out to residents if we do have to send anything out with calls, just so they know. Thank you. More about who we are and what we do. So I guess I'm just here to introduce myself so everyone knows who I am, what I do. So RAMS Animal Control. So we're animal control by law enforcement. So thank you for entrusting that in us. And we're really excited to be working with your team. And yeah, if you guys had any questions for me, did you Is there anything you want me to talk about specifically?
I mean, how has your experience been, I guess, working inside the RM St. Andrews?
It's limited. So this will be kind of our slower season. We've had a few at-larges, a couple what I would call minor attack incidents that we've dealt with so far. And then the usual, I think we've had 2 barking complaints so far. When the weather's really cold, people are generally inside, so we don't get a ton of calls. So as soon as it starts warming up, that's when we get out there. Yeah, so we did actually just pick up a really cute German Shepherd puppy that was running around out here, probably dumped. Of course, that's an assumption, but no one has come forward to claim her yet, but she's lovely if anyone's looking for a beautiful dog. We do have the adoption center, so for unclaimed animals that are safe to rehome, we provide vetting and then we post them on social media for adoption.
Okay, Brent, you have a.
Yeah, maybe you could just share that I was there at the beginning with Megan when she
Sure.
came
Yeah.
into the business. So maybe just tell a bit about, I'm always intrigued by your story about what you were doing and how you got into the animal control business as a passion.
Yeah. So I came from the accounting world. So I was, putting in 16+ hour days at the accounting firm for someone else. I decided I wanted to do my own thing. And so I started pursuing options. Rams, I purchased the company in 2018. And since then I've expanded and moved twice. So just trying to keep going forward. And
who are some of your other clients?
So in your area, we used to service West St. Paul. They just recently switched, similar to what you guys did. And East St. Paul, we do Broken Head, Springfield, Reynolds, Town and RM of St. Anne, City of Steinbach, Taché, Richaud. Am I missing somebody? Feel like I am Beausejour.
A big enough area.
And you're a staff of one or?
No, absolutely not. No, I cannot possibly. So we have kennel attendants at the building, 9 to 9, that take care of our animals. They do our dispatch for us, among a million other things. And then I have 3 officers, so myself and then 2 part-time officers.
Deputy Mayor Murphy.
Yeah, hello, I'm glad to see you here. It's great for you to come out. I was just wondering, I don't know much about your facility.
Mhm.
Could you just describe what your facility is
Sure.
like and the number of employees you have and
Yeah.
perhaps some of the assets you have?
Yeah, so the building we moved in July 2024, and we've completely renovated the building. So it's actually basically a brand new building. So it used to be a home where a family lived, and then they built on an extension, which they opened a grocery store. So that was years and years past. So we've revamped the whole grocery store section. That's where all the animals are kept. Everything is sanitizable. So epoxy flooring, we have all the walls are like a PVC type wall, so everything can be completely sanitized and washed down. The cats are so I'm calling it phase 1 and phase 2. So phase 1 of the renovations is done, and now I'm poor. So phase 2 is coming in the near future. And we're getting brand new dog kennels, which will be self-contained units with a double basin. So no dog would ever be stuck in urine or dirt. It'll flow to the bottom. It'll be easy for the staff to clean and disinfect properly and so on. Right now, what we have is the dogs are being held in what I built for the cats. So each dog has its own suite. Basically, it's got its own bedroom until we can get those kennels built. Those kennels will be 3x7x7 kennels, so they're larger kennels as well. In the country, we don't often get small dogs, so we need to make sure we got lots of space. Everything is designed to properly and safely handle dangerous dogs as well. so we can get catch poles into all the kennels and so on. And then the cats, we like to house them outside of kennels, so the bedrooms are for the cats, so we usually have 6 to 8 cats in each room, so they live together. It helps with their socialization, and then also it's nice for the public to come in and sit in the room and just play with the cats and decide if they or who they want to adopt.
Oh, so do you have a lot of people coming to you to adopt?
Yeah, so this year has been a little wavy, I would say. I feel like the economy is really affecting things, and vet costs are skyrocketing. So I think that's impacting how many people are adopting right now. Also, we just reopened the adoption center about 8 months ago, so we're just kind of revamping and starting fresh and pushing it and getting our social media platform where it needs to be to get the more people coming in. So it's going well. It could be better.
So you're kind of like the Humane Society, or you
Yeah.
are like, okay.
Yeah.
She also has a surgical center too. that
Oh,
she-
yeah.
She has in the middle of her, where she can.
Sorry,
bring
yeah.
vets to come in and go ahead.
And you're right, that's the best part of it. I have to call it a multi-purpose room. I can't say it's a surgical suite, but we do have our vet comes to our facility, which he was there today and he's there tomorrow, doing spay and neuter clinics. And pretty sure there's some information on here on that.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, so, oh yeah, and then there's a picture of him right there. So that's in our building there. So he just sets up all his equipment and we do all the animals come and go right through our multi-purpose room and we do all the surgeries right on site. Those are people going.
Sure, I missed it. What is your capacity for animals?
So because I don't have those dog kennels set up just yet, I don't have a firm capacity. Right now, I'm able to house 13 dogs, and then cats I can do. I don't even.
40.
Yeah, more than
Lots.
that. Yeah,
Lots.
more than that.
And-
Yeah.
And can you do any other animals or just cats and dogs?
At that facility, just cats and dogs. I've had like roosters and chickens and like small stuff. Yeah. But I do have farms that I use for livestock animals. Yeah. And I do have access to that 24/7.
Alfred Dormouse?
Yeah, about your spay and neuter clinic.
Mm-hmm.
What is low cost? Because I know
Yep.
that in our neighborhood, we've had to do a bunch of TNR
Yes.
and, we paid it out of our pocket and
Yes. And we don't make any money on the clinics. It goes straight, it's volunteer run. And the cost goes straight to the vet and sorry, I meant to bring a flyer and I forgot. I'll rattle off some prices for you here. So a cat neuter is $100, spay is $130. And then if you want the shots on top of that, it's an extra $25.
cheap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dogs, $220 for the neuter, $260 for the spay. So the surgery is quite different for a male versus females. So that's why the females are always more. It's an abdominal incision. And then also it depends on the size of the dog. So these prices are only up to 35 kgs. Anything bigger than that, it depends on weight because it's the drug that has to put them under is what is the cost difference. And then we do exams and shots as well. So if you want that, it's an extra $50 just for the exam and then $25 for the shots.
Where are you?
We're in Enola and all of this is on our social media. You can access all of that on social media.
Because I had a cat that was done all the way down like by IKEA, one of them, and there's another cat we had.
Oh,
done in
yes,
the
and
tank. So
yeah.
that's why I was just wondering. because there's
Yeah.
nothing moving in this area. There's a lot of cats.
The other option we can do is if you guys have a spot for us to use, we could set up clinics here in the municipality. Our vet will come in, we can do that. We just need a space. And like a room this big is even too big for us, so it doesn't need to be too crazy. Yeah.
No, that's excellent. Thank you.
So our spay and neuter clinics, we do minimum once a month. This month, we actually had to add a second date because it's becoming more popular. We've been doing it since April. On average, we're at like between 15 and 25 cats per clinic. And then the dogs are a little less, so like probably 7 to 10. Well, maybe 7 per clinic would be good, like a good average. But so that's a good amount per month, and it's getting more popular. Like I said, we're growing our social media base. So it's getting,
The awareness, right?
yes, exactly, yeah.
And
Just-
there's no, you don't have to see what someone makes, like it's just you come
Nope.
in here, okay, you wanna make sure.
Yeah, we just are trying to, Manitoba is in a state of disarray in my opinion, in terms of how many, like the overpopulation issue. The rescues kind of band together last year and tried to get our province to go into a state of emergency because of it, because all the shelters are just packed. So we're just trying to get as many animals fixed as possible.
And then do you have a turnover program? So you have a little German Shepherd pup, right? So obviously the pups are easier to adopt out than it is for an older animal. So do these older animals, I don't even want to recycle them, but do they go to a different place or do there's like a hill? Cause it's,
Yeah, so we have the adoption center at Rams. So long as it's safe to, so I always kind of caveat, as long as it's safe. So as animal control, we're picking up, you know, probably dumped animals. People aren't dumping the very good dogs or the very healthy dogs. So we need to establish if it's safe to even rehome before we do that. So we do make decisions. We're not a no-kill shelter, unfortunately. We don't have that luxury. If I wouldn't bring it into my home, I'm not gonna adopt it out. So we do have to euthanize. The highest number of euthanasias is feral cats, because there's just no solution for that, unfortunately, yet.
Okay, thank you. Council members, do you have any other questions? Well, thank you. It was wonderful for you to come and introduce
Thanks for
yourself.
having
You're
me.
doing a great job.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
TJ is on Zoom. Yeah, we'll just get to the item there and then he can share his screen and do his presentation.
Okay, our next delegation is CJ O'Para, Account Manager of Hub Technology, who's attending the meeting on Zoom.
And Hub is our IT.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. Pleasure to meet you all. Okay, I wanted to start.
Video request there.
Okay, that's a lot
We can
better.
see you.
Good evening, everyone. Pleasure to meet you all. My name is CJ. I'm one of the account managers at Hub Technology Solutions. But most of my accounts are the municipalities. Those are the ones that I primarily manage, and I have the pleasure of getting to work with St. Andrews and getting to meet meet all of you. It's really a pleasure. So today I will be showing you what does St. Andrews IT infrastructure look like, or what has it been like over the past year while working with Hub. I will be sharing my screen right now. Please, if you have any questions throughout this presentation, feel free to interrupt me at any given time. I'll be more than happy to address those questions. Okay, I will share my screen now. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yeah, looks good.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so first things first, I'll just talk about Hub. Many of you know us as, your IT provider, but we're more than that. We are your partners. So Hub Technology Solutions, we're 100% Indigenous and Canadian-owned IT company, meaning all of our staff, we're all located in Canada, in Winnipeg. We've seen a lot of IT companies where they have to outsource to the US or other countries, but we don't do that. We have all our staff in-house. Now we have been providing IT services to for over 35 years. We turned 35 on Wednesday. Wednesday was last Wednesday. I mean, that was our 35th year anniversary. And we empower organizations like municipalities. We work with quite a number of municipalities, and we have worked with municipalities. I help to empower you guys through technology, fostering meaningful connections, and creating innovative solutions for a brighter future. Now I'll talk about just a high level of what the next slides I'll be presenting. So I'm just going to show you a high level overview of your current security posture, service performance as well. I'm just summarizing the key metrics related to cybersecurity, system reliability, as well as IT support effectiveness. Now this information is intended to offer transparency into how the municipality's technology environment is being managed, how risks are being reduced over time, and how IT services are supporting daily operations. Now, these metrics will demonstrate overall system health and inform council understanding of ongoing technology needs and investments. The next slide, this is just a high level of the slides that I'll be going through, of the metrics I'll be reviewing rather. First things first, the Microsoft Secure Score. I will explain every single thing in here. I'm not going to bombard you guys with any technical information. All right, so Microsoft Secure Score, what is this? I like to think of it as your credit score, your Microsoft's credit score. How well are you doing in terms of according to Microsoft standards? Now, your current score is 47.51. Previously, your score was 46.33. That was about 4 or 5 months ago when last I checked. Right now, it's sitting at 47.51. Now, what does that mean? So your score, your secure score, it just shows how well your Microsoft environment is protected against cyber threats. Like I said, the current score being 47.5 is above the baseline for similar organizations. Now, this is according to Microsoft standard. Now, throughout the whole year, when we have worked together, we have seen your score improve significantly. Your score improving significantly just shows, okay, we're doing something right. Like you guys are, you are adhering to the best practices. You're listening to the advice the advice and the consultation we provide. Now, this score reflects the security measures we have implemented as well, and such as multi-factor authentication. That's just whenever you're required to put in an additional layer of security. Let's say you're logging into any application, you put in your regular password, then you get an email notification on your phone saying, okay, put in this code in here. That's what you call multi-factor authentication. So like I said, a higher score just means you have stronger defenses against phishing, unauthorized access, and data breaches. Phishing is just it's one of the ways hackers get into your systems. Again, while there is always room for improvement, the score shows how we are actively reducing risk and following best practices to safeguard sensitive municipal data. Do we have any questions on the secure score so far?
Council members, any questions? Councilor Feeblecorn?
Is that percentage, is the percentage out of 100, or what is is 47 out of 50? What?
Yeah, yes, it is out of 100, and just because of it's really how Microsoft measures things. Microsoft has really high standards. Organizations typically, what I've seen is usually within 27 to around 48, 49% so far. That's usually a standard. Now, based on the organization size, that Microsoft has its own standards to measure against. So right now, like I said, you're 47.5. You're above Microsoft standard for organizations of your size. Organizations of your size, the baseline is around 45, thereabout. So you're doing better than most organizations of a similar capacity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it still doesn't sound good. I would think we should be by 90s.
And I can jump in here too. I had a similar thought when we saw the score. I'm like, this can't be that good. This is a failing grade, right? But when you look into it, it's very unrealistic to have a 100% security score, especially for an organization that's never invested in cybersecurity to date. Looking at similar municipal organizations, we are well above what the others are doing right now in terms of that security score, but there's much more to it. That's just how Microsoft evaluates an organization of our size.
Yeah.
And I'll add to that this council made a commitment to security, and I came to council and talked about risks and talked about what was happening in some other municipalities, and this council committed some good dollars and we worked with Hub. So we're a leader in Manitoba municipalities in regards to security and safeguards against exposure to fraud risk and someone hijacking our system or asking for holding us at hostage for money and those type of things. So we've really come a long way, and generally, historically, municipalities and cities have not been paying attention to this. And I knew as a CAO a few years ago that, you know, council had to get on board, and you did to safeguard us. I'd rather work with Hub and spend some money up front than be tens of $millions out, with a surprise incident.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, Brent and Braden, for that. Yes, Counselor. It's that, like, just like Brent and Braden said, it's based on Microsoft standards. I've ideally never seen with 100%. That's usually why they have the baseline numbers. I know this, like, at first sight, the score is like, oh, that's really low. Like, why am I 40? That's a fail. But no, it's not. It's actually a really good score, according to Microsoft. So yeah, I'll say you guys are doing really great, and you have been constantly and consistently improving over the past couple of months. So I'll say that's a plus in my book. Any other questions so far?
Here's not.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear that.
No, there's no other questions at this
Okay.
point.
Sorry. All right. The next slide I'd like to talk about is the ticket resolution. Now, what does this mean? This is the number of tickets that we have worked on for the RM of St. Andrews within the past 12 months. That is January to December. It's based on a calendar year. I filtered this just to show the service tickets. The service tickets are the ones that we have the technicians working on. There's multiple departments at Hub. We have the finance, we have the sales, we have the marketing. So I only filtered it to see the tickets that the technicians are working on. There have been 1,117 tickets that have hit the board so far. Currently, there is one open ticket. I looked into that open ticket. It's really, we're still waiting on response from a user. I believe it was Ken's laptop that we were working on. So we're still waiting for feedback from Ken. But bottom line is, in terms of the resolution rate, we have a 99.9% resolve rate. If you take a look at this graph, it just shows how many tickets we've resolved since you joined Hub. And January up until now, we've had 100%. It's been a perfect smooth line. We had a dip in December just because we're still waiting on Ken. But then that doesn't mean that it's a high priority issue, or it's a really huge problem rather that he's experiencing. Just still waiting on client's response. Now, like I said, over the past year, we've resolved 1,116 tickets, maintaining 100% resolution rate. Now, I outlined what the open ticket was, and now this demonstrates that our IT team were consistently delivering uninterrupted service and keeping operations running smoothly. Do we have any questions on this slide, on this metric rather?
I just have a comment. I want to thank you.
Yes, please.
Your support, the service you give is beyond 100%.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to hear. I'll pass that feedback across to the team. All right then. So the next slide, this is just talking about service levels. Service levels, this is usually how we prioritize our tickets. Now, there's usually our service tickets are spread across 5 categories. The priority 1, the critical issues. Priority 2, not so critical, but of higher importance. Now, priority 3, we have the medium issues. Priority 4, the lower ones, and priority 5, the ones that we don't have any time frame for. We don't have any SLAs. That's what our we don't have any metrics we use to measure when they resolved, because it's usually just alerting, nothing like a user having or experiencing any issues. Now, the metric I just showed, it shows that we're meeting or exceeding the agreed response times. If you take a look at the bottom here, these are our average response times. So and they're measured in minutes. So average response time, so 25 minutes. Now that means once a ticket hits the board, within 25 minutes, we've responded to that user. Now, average time to begin remediation, how long before we start working on that ticket? Within 172 minutes. Now, all these, I like to say, are still within the SLAs according to industry standards. And our average resolve times, this is like how long it takes before we resolve a ticket, no matter the priority, even the ones that are really critical tickets. Now, this is 769 minutes. That's roughly, maybe close to around 10, 11, 12 hours, but that's still within the day because we have staff that are dedicated to solving your issues 24/7, 365. The even if you're not at work, even if you're not at work, or rather once the business hours are done, within the 9 to 5, our staff are still working, constantly looking after your environment, making sure nothing fishy is going on. So that's what this means. So once there's an issue that's in Andrews is experiencing, we do not rest, we do not stop until that issue is resolved. And I also like to highlight this. So we see a very high number of priority 3 tickets. Now this means your infrastructure is a lot more stabilized than how it was at the beginning. So with a lot more reactive organizations, you tend to see a lot of priority 1 tickets, where things are panic fire. There's a fire, you put it out. There's a fire, you put it out. But that's not how St. Andrews is. St. Andrews is one of the most advanced municipalities I have come across that I have the pleasure to work with, because I've seen how your infrastructure is. Whenever I'm in a meeting with you guys, it's always really strategic questions. And that's where we want to see municipalities head to. The way we handled IT, the way IT was treated 10, 15 years ago is not the same way it should be handled now. And you guys are taking that proactive and strategic step towards the future. Now, again, like I said, this just shows that your organization is getting to a standardized place. Your infrastructure is getting to a standardized place. Now, this is just highlighting everything I've said so far. The ticket breakdown, also shows that most issues are medium priority with few critical incidents. Now, which indicates a stable and well-managed IT environment. Now, this level of performance is rare, like I mentioned, and highlights the reliability of our support services. Now, the average resolution, like I told you, just around that 12-hour, just means most problems are fixed within that same day. Now, these numbers confirm that we are consistently within the targets, ensuring predictable and reliable IT support. Now, fast response and resolution times reduce downtime, help improve staff productivity, and prevent disruptions to municipal services. Do we have any questions on this metric so far?
No, I don't see any hands or please go ahead.
All right, then. Thank you very much. All right, the next one, ticket KPIs. Now, this metric just shows how the ticket status, each ticket status, or really an average of all the tickets. First contact resolution. Now, what does this mean? 61% of the time, once the ticket hits the board, that's when it's resolved. This metric, according to industry standards, is a really, really great one. Because I've seen other municipalities, and whenever I've seen with other organizations, it's usually a lower number. We're looking at reading like 40 to 45, but then this number, you would want to see this number higher than 50%. But at 61% is a great thing. So whenever the tickets hit the board, that's what the full first contact resolution. Whoever picks it up is the person that resolves that ticket. Now that just shows that your tickets are going to the right technicians. We know we have the knowledgeable technicians on staff. We know what we're doing. Now, single technician on ticket, 89% of that time, it's one technician that works on that ticket. And this 11% that says multiple technicians, this doesn't necessarily mean it took 2 or 3 technicians to work on the ticket. Sometimes it just gets passed around, maybe finance is looking at it or things like that. That's really what accounts for 9 to 10 of this 11%. So I would say most of the time, you have one technician working on your ticket, meaning we have the staff to handle whatever problems you are facing, whatever issues or challenges come our way. We're able to resolve it. And then these metrics just demonstrate what I've said so far. And you can see the trend, 79%, and then it goes up it goes up until 73%, 66%. There was a dip in around October, but it spiked back to 77%. So, but basically, all through the year, we've been consistent in delivering legendary service. Now, this is just explaining everything I've said so far. So our ticket performance reflects strong efficiency and reliability. 61% of tickets are resolved immediately upon reaching our board. 89% are handled by a single technician, ensuring issues go to the right personnel and reducing unnecessary handoffs. Now, when others touch a ticket, it's usually for administrative reasons, not technical misrouting. Now, most tickets fall under the MSP support. That's that's the support that's covered within your agreement, meaning they are part of the managed services agreement. So which confirms that core IT services are being delivered as contracted at no additional charge. Now, these KPIs demonstrate a streamlined, well-organized support system that consistently meets service expectations. Do we have any questions so far on this metric?
I don't have a question, but I'd like to ask a question for council now that we've kind of reviewed the service ticket levels. Those who have had to put in a request to Hub, could you attest to some of the stats that we have there? Generally within 25, 30 minutes, we have someone on the ticket. Within several hours, we have an update or even the issue's been resolved. I know that some of you have definitely been involved with Hub, as have I. So just curious what your experience has been like.
Oh, Rob?
Mine was okay, no complaints.
I'm very happy.
I've got nothing but good things to say about Hub. I'm very much impressed by the response rate to the tickets.
Thank you very much.
CJ and I, we converse almost every other day about something that's going on in the municipality, definitely weekly at a minimum on everything that's going on. And I'm always up to date on all the tickets. I see everything that's going on in the RM, and as the organization, I see the tickets getting resolved. Sometimes people will include me on their ticket. Other times I just find out through Hub, but I see constant progress, and I don't hear anything negative at all about Hub from anyone with their experiences. And so I'm led to believe that most people share the same sentiments as I do.
And I'll go on record for saying and I'm an IT pioneer that in the 80s I worked in computer services at the city of Winnipeg. I've never seen a service level in IT that Hub's providing. So I'm happy with them too.
Oh, thank you so much. These are all really wonderful and kind words. I will make sure I pass this across to the team. Again, thank you so much, everyone. Now the next slide. Okay, so this is regarding the managed services agreement renewal. Now, what is managed services? Now, the MSA, it's our managed services agreement. It provides the proactive support and ongoing improvements to standardize and secure your IT environment. All the metrics we've displayed so far, these are the outcomes. These are your ROI. You're seeing your return on your investment into IT. Now, this includes backup management. Every single day, our technicians routinely review your backups and make sure everything is running as it should. Every single day, whatever day of the week it is, we have a technician constantly and routinely checking your backups. Something's wrong with, okay, why is this going on? That ties into that proactive support management. I like to think of I like to use this analogy of a car. The way our service level, the way our service is, the way the managed service agreement is, rather, it's like you could compare it with a brand new car that constantly provides monitoring. You don't have to take it in every time to the mechanic because it never breaks down. It just keeps going. The only time you ever have to service it is maybe you're just going for an oil change. That's what the managed services agreement is. You don't have to worry. You don't have to stress about anything. That's our model. making technology simple and stress-free. Your counselors, you all have administrative duties. You have other things that you should be spending your time doing. IT shouldn't be one thing that you're constantly stressing about. Yes, IT gets complicated. There is no doubt about that. But that's why we're here. We take that level, we take that stress off your hands. So, like I mentioned, we also do quarterly cybersecurity training to maintain ensure compliance. I'm very sure you all have gotten the email notifications. Let's say you need to complete some Infima tests, you need to complete some training module, or you've gotten these routine test emails whereby it sends you an email that looks like it's from someone within the organization. Then you click on it, and then when you click on it, it says, "Oh, okay, you just failed this phishing test. Now you have to go and watch or read up on all these sources." So that's what we call the quarterly cybersecurity training. A lot of insurers, whenever it comes to cyber insurance, they always add this in there. You need to have some form of quarterly phishing training, if you may, or cybersecurity awareness training for short. So that's one thing that we also provide. And all the services that we provide you, these are also helping you check off boxes from your cyber insurer, making sure we leave no stone unturned. And okay, this point, advanced endpoint protection with MDR to prevent suspicious activity. We're all familiar with how antiviruses work. Now, MDR just stands for, what it means is managed detection and response. Now, what does that do? It's similar to an antivirus, but it constantly looks behind the scenes for any suspicious activity. If it sees two different devices communicating when they shouldn't, it flags that. It flags that as a threat and blocks it and informs us behind the scenes, okay, there's something suspicious going on in St. Andrews right now. We take a look at it, okay, confirm it's legit, it's a regular communication, then we allow it. Bottom line is nothing goes unnoticed when you have us, when we are reviewing or we're constantly looking into or looking at your IT. Now, your current agreement, it renews on February 1st. We presented a proposal that includes an option for a 1 year and a 3-year option. Now, the 1 year term it's subject to vendor price changes. For instance, it could be 3rd or 5th of the month due to the tariffs and everything. Sometimes vendors change their prices. A lot of times we usually have to inform the client, and then you can see some minor sudden bumps, and that might affect budgeting a little bit here and there. Then the other option is a 3-year agreement. Now, the 3-year agreement, why I recommended this, considering how I know how important budgeting is to the RM. 3-year agreement, it provides pricing stability. It's less subject to fluctuations. Now, the reason being that is when you're committed to the 3-year agreement, if there's any minor or sudden changes, we don't reflect that in your agreement. Why? Because you're already in that commitment term with us. Except your really huge changes, then okay, we do tell you that we do inform the client about it. But whenever we have those minor changes, we usually just absorb that. And it also helps in predictable budgeting and allows us to plan and implement improvements more strategically over time. When I was looking into your current agreement renewal, so normally we increase the per user cost just based on the cost of living. So I was able to talk with the team again. I'm also your advocate in addition to being your account manager. I spoke with the team. I said, you know what? Let's give St. Andrews a discount. Let's give them a discount for this, for this year. So that's also one of the things that I helped with doing. So as opposed to having the 2.2% increase, we discounted your agreement at that rate. So that's why we're providing you with both options. You could go with the 1 year. That's, it's a little bit, you might see some bumps here and there, or the 3-year that knows, okay, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about crazy changes. The only changes that you would see is the 2.2% cost of living increase in the following years. But as for this year, 2026, we're giving you at a discounted rate. So in short, the 3-year option, it reduces risk, improves consistency, and supports long-term infrastructure and budget planning. And summary. Now, these results we've been displaying, they clearly show that the municipality's IT investment is delivering strong returns. We've maintained 100% ticket resolution rate. We've met all SLA targets and strengthened cybersecurity with a Microsoft Secure score of 47.5. Now, reducing the risk of costly breaches. No, this just means that fewer service disruptions, fewer service disruptions, improved staff productivity, and better protection of sensitive municipal data. So, continued partnership will allow us to build on these successes, further improving security and maintaining high service standards and ensuring reliable operations for the municipality. And that brings a close to my presentation. Sorry if I went a bit over for time. And yeah, do you have any questions?
Council members, does anybody have any questions or Brent, anybody?
I have a question.
Okay, Council.
I'm assuming that little number one, that's not, okay.
No.
I don't know where, I have no idea where.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
So I'm Ken, and apparently.
Okay. Hi, Ken.
Hi. So I'm
Hi.
apparently I'm the outstanding ticket, but I don't think I've ever got an
No,
email
it's
regarding.
Chief Ken Peacock.
Okay, never mind.
Okay.
I thought it
Oh,
was-
no, not you. Yeah, I think it's the fire hall, Ken.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, well,
yes.
thank you so much, CJ. We're,
Not a
yes,
problem.
great
No problem.
explanation. Yes, you're a
Mhm.
great company. Thank you. But we've got a large agenda to continue on with.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yes, you do. All right, then. Yeah, thank you very
Sure.
much. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thanks.
You have a great day.
The next item is council reports. Thank you everyone for submitting your report. Does anybody have any questions on the reports? Councilor Slaker?
Mayor Cool, I understood that you attended RRPD. Was that the same day that they board voted to extend or to renew the executive director's contract for 4 years? Or
Yes,
was
I
that
was the
done
alternate
before
on
you?
that. Yeah, the alternate on that.
Okay. So Andrews is tied to RRPD for another 4 years with the same executive director.
Her contract
It
was,
hasn't been ratified, it has not, there's just
it
preliminary
hasn't been
stuff.
ratified yet,
Preliminary stuff happening.
Oh,
That can't be.
and that's personnel, okay.
what you put it in your report.
Yeah, I know, because I thought we had.
That's why I'm asking, because it's in the report. So.
I didn't, and see after, because I was the alternate, so I had no information for her, but then there was a special meeting of the Red River Port in, after that meeting. Yeah, and I have no details.
I still don't know.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? The only question I have, Councilor Wander, this is the second report you've indicated it's great, you're addressing resident concerns. The last line, topics of concern for residents were development brought up about future election. What's the concern with an election? That's 10 months away.
You're asking me if I'm running and that kind of thing.
Well, that may not be in the report, because if
Put it in
anybody
there.
else
We don't need to
council,
discuss it.
any campaigning ahead of time, that is not allowed under.
I'm not campaigning. I'm not campaigning.
See,
That's,
by
that's
what
their
you put-
concerns.
Well, what you put in here, we don't know what that is.
They're concerned about the future election.
I'm not saying you're campaigning, I'm just giving notice to members of council. No one starts under
I'm
legislation.
not campaigning, and I
I never-
take offense to the implications that you're telling me that I'm campaigning, because I'm not.
I never.
That's their concerns.
I
You just said that,
asked what what the resident concerns are,
yeah, they're discussing the upcoming election.
okay?
And I put it in there for everybody on council to see.
Okay,
That's what their concerns are.
I'm just making clarification so nobody here gets in trouble. under the Election Act? No further questions? Okay, management reports. Thank you to all the managers for your reports. Is this where Peter is giving his report?
No, he's doing it in camera.
Okay, does anybody have any questions on the monthly management reports? Okay, then we'll move forward to bylaws and policies. We're at item 8.1, bylaw number 4428, road renaming Pernician Drive, second reading. Be it resolved that council gives second reading to bylaw number 4428, being the road renaming of bylaw for Pernician Drive as presented. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Dornbos, seconder. Deputy Mayor Marecki, any comments? We had this all discussed at the last meeting. All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Third reading, and this is a recorded vote. Be it resolved that council gives third reading to bylaw 4428, being the road renaming bylaw for Pernician Drive as presented. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Slaker, seconder. Councillor Feeblecorn. All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Approval of accounts, January 23rd, 2026 check detail report. Be it resolved that council approved the January 23rd, 2026 check detail report as presented. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Slaker, seconder. Councillor Feeblecorn, any comments or questions? Councillor Slaker.
I just want to again thank our new head of finance for the breakout. It is fantastic. Thank you.
All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Next, we have Carrie present with us, December 25th, 2025. Oh, December 2025 financial statements. Does anyone have any questions on the financial statements? Councillor Bernbach?
Just a quick question about the equipment fueling. It's like we had budgeted about $485,000 and we were about $200,000 short. Is that just because fuel costs were low?
I discussed that with Trevor. A lot of it was that they didn't spend as much as they needed to because they buy bulk fuel, and sometimes the purchase is offset over the years, so they didn't need to buy as much as they usually do.
Any other questions? Councillor Slaker?
This question would be for the finance director. I was thinking about this the other day. So we have indemnities on here for December 2025. But we're always 1 month behind.
No, we're on 9.2 financial
Oh,
statements.
sorry, I was doing the whole thing.
That's the next item.
Okay.
Carrie, I have a question on page 1, conditional grant. The gas tax actual is $679,058. But on page 15, it shows $699,401. So it's like 20,000 difference. Why the difference?
When we did the budget in MMO, it wasn't actually posted for what the 2025 amount was. So we budgeted as what it was the prior year, assuming that we get something similar. And we were slightly off at about 20,000. We got a little bit less than 2025.
Okay. Thank you. Makes sense. Thank you. Council members, any other questions? Moving on to 9.3, October to December council indemnities report. All attached, Councillor Slaker.
Okay, back to my question. We pay the month later, like we're always being paid. So my question is this true December number? It should be that, because we're always 1 month behind, right?
Well, because we filed.
I'm asking Carrie, if you don't mind. I'll give you my sheet by December the 8th for November.
Yeah, no,
Or like by the eighth.
yeah, even though you're paid later, like the payment goes through later, but the actual expenses go in at the month that it is.
Okay,
Yeah, so like overall, the
Amazing.
entire expense for like the entire year is what it is on the sheets.
so December 2025 report is up to December 2025.
I believe so, but I will confirm that with the payroll clerk when she is in.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I will
Okay,
confirm that.
thank you.
Any other questions? Correspondence for action. With us. Our meeting, February 5th. Be it resolved that Mayor Sewell, Deputy Mayor Mareki, Councilor Wondor, Councilor Jordan Boss, Councilor Peebles, and the CAO be authorized to attend the ARM meeting be held February 5th in the ARM of Rosser. Could I have a mover, please? Councilor Peebles, seconder. Deputy Mayor Mareki. Is that correct? Is anybody else going? Councilor Hunt's not here. Councilor Stryker, you're
No, I'm not going.
Okay, all those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Seven Oaks School Division, be it resolved. Who would like to attend, be authorized to attend the Seven Oaks School Division's dinner meeting being held February 23rd, 2026 in Winnipeg. Who would like to attend? Councilor Wondor. Okay, could I have a mover, please? Councilor Jordan, seconder. Councilor Stryker, all those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Correspondence for information. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the, what's attached? Councilor Dornbos?
I want to go back down to the Gaynor Public Library support letter. And thank you from Erin. That was very nice for her to do, being on that board. I know how much we worked to get this moving and the library expansion, and thanks to Councilor Sliker for continuing that on and doing what needed to be done to unbelievably have all the money done
Not
in
bad,
that
eh?
small time frame. Just unbelievable, because I didn't know if it would happen. It happened. That's a lot of money.
Well,
So
thank you
it
for
was good.
all you did on that. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions on the information items? Old unfinished business. This was put over from the last meeting, tax impact date for the 2027 reassessment. Be it resolved the council confirmed the 2027 reassessment date of May 26, 2026 for tax impact day. Could I have a mover, please? Councilor Jordan Boss. This is to get it on the table for discussion. Seconder. Councilor Sliker. The last question was, I think, Lisa was to check out if this was the same date of our annual autumn open house at the community club.
So no, it's not. The tax impact date is something separate, if that's when they actually come to council and talk to council about things. The open house for assessors, this is the date that they chose. They sometimes attend our open house, they sometimes do not. This does not correspond, so they would not be attending our open house this year. But they're really not, they're really not asking for the acceptance of the open house date. The request is just for council to confirm the tax impact.
So I know a few years ago, they came here. I think we had one person attend. Is this the thing where all of council meets with they come?
Yeah, it is, sorry, did you go ahead?
Sure, they do two things. They come, they address council and they go, here's what's happening. I believe this is a reassessment year. This is what we're doing. This is the timing of it. This is the percentage that the increases are gonna be on general for the RM. You know, if you're above this number, it means this. If you're below this number, it means that. And they'll tell council that. They go to meet the assessor open house is for, that's at Selkirk, is for the whole population in the Triple S area. And that's where people get to come and say, and we'll publicize that. They come to say, I got this letter about my assessment and I don't agree with it. And then the assessor can explain how they came up with that number, and if there is an issue, their assessment could possibly be reduced at that meeting, or they will look into it.
Okay, so the tax impact date is set for May 26th at 5 p.m.
Yeah, and they have a whole
Here.
set, they have a whole set of these, so there's not a lot of room to change, like they're
Okay,
going
so
all
all
over the
the
province.
Present for this?
Yeah, well,
Well, who can be?
yeah, they should be,
Okay. So basically, so today with the resolution, we're just setting that date.
Yep.
We're setting the date. Okay, Counselor Jordan Moss was mover, Counselor Slaker seconder, all those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. New business, Town of Teulon. Mutual aid memorandum of understanding. Be it resolved that the signing authorities for the Arm St. Andrews be authorized to sign the mutual aid memorandum of understanding with the Town of Teulon as presented. And that is, the attachment is there. Does anybody have any questions? Could I have a mover, please? Counselor Doornbos, seconder. Counselor Mondor. Any comments or questions?
Didn't we have this last year with the same?
It's renewed every year. All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Manitoba Hydro Street Lighting Agreement change. Be it resolved that the Council of the Arm of St. Andrews hereby authorizes Manitoba Hydro to make the following changes to the street lighting system in pole number 0523770 to add a 90-watt streetlight. And be it further resolved that it is agreed that this resolution will constitute an amendment to the street lighting contract now in force between Manitoba Hydro and the Arm of St. Andrews dated January 21st, 2026. Can I have a mover, please? Deputy Mayor Marecki, seconder, Councillor Slaker, admin, well, there's a bunch of attachments, it's just amending the agreement.
I can speak to it real brief. This
Okay.
is condition 2C of subdivision S25-3105. I see the applicants are in the audience there. This was a resolution prepared by Manitoba Hydro. If we're adding a new light to our hydro agreement, we need to amend the contract, requires a council resolution. The recurring costs are the responsibility of the municipality. However, the installation costs, we would pay hydro, reimbursed by the developer, and that amount would be outlined in the development agreements. Yeah. And so all of that, all the other attachments are just there for your reference. Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. So any questions? Thank you, Brayden, that's simple explanation. Okay, all those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Thank you. 13.3 landfill custodian contract. Whereas the municipality has contract agreement with external contractors to provide custodial services at the Glandaboy Waste Disposal Site and the Earl Grey Waste Disposal Site. And whereas that agreement expired on December 31st, 2025, and the municipality desires to extend the contract and continue said agreement, it is provided that the extension shall be extended for an additional term of 6 months as of February 1st, 2026, expiring July 31st, 2026. Be it resolved that council grant an extension of its contract with Rondi Enterprises for an additional term ending July 31st, 2026 at a cost to the RM of $42,000. And be it further resolved that council grant an extension of its contract with Mike's Property Services for an additional term ending July 31st, 2026 at a cost to the RM of $52,080. And be it further resolved that the signing authorities for the Arm of St. Andrews be authorized to sign the custodial services contract with Rondi Enterprises and Mike's Property Services respectively. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Dornbos, seconder. Deputy Mayor Marecki. Is anybody speaking to this? Or the extension of the contract? Peter, did you have a short explanation? Did you want to speak to this resolution?
I was originally asked for more time, but I considered it to be just 6 months. Based on just extending the existing contracts. Based on just the many different factors with the landfill, the problems we've had with them operation wise. And so it'll give me an opportunity to flesh out where we're going with those landfills before extending the contracts further or reissuing them.
Perfect, thank you. Council members, do you have any questions? There will be a discussion in camera. You have a question now? There will be in camera discussion on infrastructure. Councilor Hunt?
How much, this is the third extension we've given him now, or this at the end of this contract, it'll be 2.5 years over the original contract, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Pardon? Okay. Okay, I hope we retender it then when this is done. It should have been tendered a while ago, but thank you.
Okay, all those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Addendum 13.4, council indemnities annual increase. This is the COLA increase. Be it resolved that council accept the new rate of percentage and Schedule A to council indemnity bylaw 4407 be hereby amended. Could I have a mover, please? This is to get it on the table for discussion. Councillor Sliker, seconder. Deputy Mayor Marecki. Lisa, did you?
Yeah, so the indemnity bylaw allows for an annual increase to council. It's based on the November CPI for 2025. So that increase this year would be 3.3%. And so we're just bringing it to council. It can be changed by resolution should council want to change it. So we're just bringing it forward.
Councillor Sliker?
Isn't that what we agreed upon last year? Like that we didn't have to keep coming back, we would just go with a certain
It's a
number
yearly
every year?
increase, it's a yearly increase by the CPI, but we can negotiate it 3.3.
Yeah, but I thought last year we had said that that's what we would just kind of go. with.
Automatically do the November, it's November.
Yeah.
Policy, right?
Yeah, I was just surprised to see, because I was under the understanding last year, we had all did some agreement that we were gonna finish the year, our terms out just following that number.
No, we decided we reduced, wasn't last year, was last year the real big high year?
Well, the first year we
2023.
were on 8% and we took,
It's coming out of COVID.
yeah, coming out of COVID.
Okay. Well, I'd be quite happy with 2%. I look around the indemnities, we are a bit higher than other RM. What's council? Oh, Councillor Hunt?
I'm happy with the 3.3%, whatever, because was it last year, a year before, it was cost of living was 8 point something, and we reduced it down to 2%. And other contracts are higher. It shouldn't matter what other municipalities are, what other ones are. It's what we do is what counts. So I'm happy with the 3.3, whatever cost of living is. That's easy to be defended. And look at the prices of everything going up.
Yeah, but a lot of our residents don't get increases like this. What's council, what, I'm gonna put it on the table, I'd be happy with 2%.
The resolution that's in front of us now, what does it say?
It's left
We just
blank
moved.
for
Pardon me?
council discussion. It's left blank, the resolution is left blank for council discussion.
What's our policy, Lisa?
Well, it's the indemnity bylaw.
It's based on the CPI of
Based on
November.
November CPI, can change by council resolution up or down. So the go-to would be the 3.3%.
It was 8% in 2023, and then we reduced it to 4%, I think it was, because it was significantly high, but it was coming out of COVID and everything, inflation was just nuts.
I
So,
thought we took 3.
well, maybe it was 3, I can't remember off the top of my head.
It was low.
It was pretty low, I think, yeah.
I
And
know.
then the year after was, I think it was maybe
Yeah.
2.1, and the year after that, just last year, I think it was 1.8.
Because but we were following this number.
Yeah, so it's give and take, right? It
Yeah.
all evens out at a 2.3%, pretty much Canadian flat rate across. So I'm okay with the 3.3. Everything balances out at the end.
Yeah, the 3 point, yeah, like if it says the CPI, then we don't need, certainly don't need to be it any higher.
Like I say, I'll move the 3.3, whatever the COLA is, or CPI.
Okay,
Or
I'll fill in 3.3, I'll fill in 3.3. Just move my Counselor Steiger. Any further discussion on this? Counselor Garbus?
Understanding, we're not making 100,000 six-figure salaries here, so 3.3%.
Yeah, I know, but some are over budget, like budget isn't being followed, it's the,
Who's over budget? Not over budget, $38,000, not over budget.
the MD report.
Okay, well, I can go to the indemnity report and I can give you every single reason why it's that high, because A, you get what you pay for. B, I'm on majority of boards, which is every month compared to everybody else. And C, I don't have to justify the successes that are happening on all these boards. So, like I said, you get what you pay for, and I think my dollar value was certainly not out to lunch.
Counselor Steiger?
I do not agree with calling out Mr. Dornbach there.
I didn't call Counselor.
Yes, you did, and that's inappropriate when, as the mayor, you put Mr. Dornbach on every major committee there is. So of course he's gonna be over.
Deputy Mayor Marecki.
I'm just saying, you're both, you created that situation, so if he's over, I'm quite sure the public would understand.
Well, the public gets to see there are deputies because it's a public document.
Correct.
So if I have, someone ask me why it's so high, I just keep this to myself.
Or you back
I
up
mean,
council and you
public-
explain exactly what's going
Yeah.
on here. So, again,
No,
I don't have to
okay, I
explain myself.
apologize. I apologize, but, okay, so we've got a resolution on the table for 3.3%. All those in favor? All those opposed? That matter is carried. In camera. Be it resolved that council move in camera at 7:07 PM. To discuss matters that are in preliminary stages and respecting which discussion in public could prejudice the municipality's ability to carry out its activities or negotiations, as well as legal and personnel issues. And be it further resolved that members of council agree to keep in confidence a matter that is discussed at a meeting that is closed to the public under section 152(3), and that the committee decides to keep confidential until the matter is discussed at a meeting of the council or a meeting conducted in public. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Dornbos, seconder. Councillor Feeblecorn, all those in favor? That is carried. Okay, thank you, folks. We have to go on camera, so I'll have to ask you to, leave the room.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Be it resolved that council move out of in camera at 8:49 PM. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Dornbos, seconder. Councillor Schleicher, all those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. We have one resolution coming from out of in camera. Lisa, I'd ask you to please read it, because I don't have one written.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Environment of St. Andrews received the decision letter dated December 21st, 2025, provided by the BC Advisory Group outlining the code of conduct complaint and accepting it for further investigation by People's First HR.
Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Schleicher, seconder. Deputy Mayor Marecki. All those in favor? Those opposed? Councillor Mondo opposed. That is carried. Thank you. That is the resolution. Before we adjourn the meeting. I want to sincerely apologize to Councillor Dornbos when the statement I made said he was over in his indemnities. I was looking at the wrong columns on our monthly summary reports for October, November, and December. So Ken, I am very sorry. And that is the adjournment time. Be it resolved that council meeting be adjourned at 8:51 PM. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Dornbos, seconder, Deputy Mayor Barecki. All in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Yep.